Hello and welcome to another episode of Triangle Offense. I'm Munish. As always, I'm joined by Nishant. This weekend, we had a lot of NBA games, but I think one news item stands out. LeBron James is injured. First of all, when did we last hear that? He rarely gets injured.
Yeah.
He rarely load manages. He plays every single game. He plays 30, 35 minutes if needed, every single day of
Yeah.
the week if needed. And now he's injured. Now, my question to you, I know it's a big blow as a Lakers fan, especially, but is it really worrying? Or do you think that it doesn't matter if he's back for the postseason?
The out of box response would be that it's probably a blessing in disguise. If it's not a serious injury, if it's just something where he needs some time off just to make sure they don't aggravate it and it's no big deal, he'll come back. Which it seems to be from initial tests, whatever they're reporting, the franchise. So if it's that, maybe it's a blessing in disguise because with Anthony Davis out and there were a bunch of players that came in and out. Schroeder was out for a bit. Caruso had gone for a while with an injury. Wes Matthews, etc. So they had a slew of short-term injuries on top of Anthony Davis's prolonged absence. And what that meant, and part of LeBron's tenacity and that he never load manages, not only does he not load manage, he probably does the opposite, which is he, against reasonable wisdom, he plays 35, 36, 40 minutes a game sometimes if needed. Now, I don't think the same rules that apply to others apply to someone with his level of fitness. So maybe it doesn't impact him the same way. But it's a matter of time, right? If not at 33, at 35, at 37, at some point this will take a toll. And if you can preserve it and prolong it, why not? Why not do that, right? Tom Brady is playing at 43, 44, winning Super Bowls. Why? Because unlike some other quarterbacks, he chooses not to run the ball. He chooses not to pick up tackles that he can avoid just to get one first down. Protects his body, right? So in that sense, I think it might be a good time for LeBron to get some rest because this is the only way he's getting any rest. There's no way he's sitting out a game otherwise, however unimportant, however insignificant. So maybe this helps him in the long run, this break that he gets. Because especially with Anthony Davis out, there's so much asked of him that there's no way he load manages within a game and there's no way he load manages by missing a game. So this is probably the only way they could have enforced rest on LeBron. Very macabre way of looking at things, but and as
No,
long
you're right. They had like
yeah.
what 2 month break after they won the championship. So he literally had no rest at all in a unprecedented year. It's unprecedented for everyone, no doubt about that. But 70 days of rest, I think, never seen before in the NBA. So I think it's a much needed rest, whether you like it or not. I think it'll come as a blessing in disguise. So I have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
But now the Lakers have slipped to third in the rankings. Uh, they were first for a long period in time, and then the Jazz took over, and now the Phoenix Suns have overtaken them. They're just a game above the Clippers, just a few games behind the Nuggets and Portland Trailblazers even. So now you might see the Lakers slip a bit because they've been losing games. Now LeBron sat out 1.5 game. They lost both the games,
Yeah,
and
blowout, second one.
if he misses like 10 days to 2 weeks, you might see them lose 4, 5, 6 more games, and suddenly, before you know it, you're sixth or seventh in the table. Now, would that be concerning given that uh, you'll end up with a higher seed? You'll have to face potentially a higher seed, like you might probably have to face Clippers, or you might have to face Jazz in the first round of the playoffs. So, would that be a dampener on their chances?
It would for sure if that's where they finish. If they slip to sixth or seventh and then LeBron or AD or both come back and they claw their way back up to say a top three finish, not so much. But if they finish the regular season sixth or seventh seed and then enter the playoffs with LeBron and AD, it is a problem because uh, championship runs are built to some extent on strategy planning and maybe a small element of luck also. You take any sport, take any knockout format in any sport. A lot of teams that go to the finals, sometimes the draw is favorable, and so they have a more realistic chance of making the finals. And then you've got to say this team is a deserving champions. If they get to the finals, they'll beat whoever's there. Maybe. But you don't have to necessarily make it a tougher path for yourself. It hasn't happened too many times in the past that a lower tier team has made it to the finals. And I'm sure there have been teams in the past where people were injured in the regular season and came back in time for the playoffs. It's a needless risk to take. Maybe you can beat any team, but can you go through, especially with the limited off season that they've had, regardless of an injury break that they get? Can you go through a playoffs where you're probably facing like the Clippers or the Jazz in the first round, and maybe you beat them, but it sure as hell takes a toll on you. You go maybe 6 games, 7 games, incredibly physical. You're worn down.
Right.
And then in the second round, again, you're not going to get a favorable matchup because you're a lower seed. It's an upset win. So you're going to get again some top tier team unless there's an upset there. And so again, you go through a grueling series. Versus you finish as a top seed, top 2 seed, you get a relatively easier matchup first. Maybe you're in the second round, and your real test is the conference finals. I'd be concerned. I'd be concerned, especially with AD. He got a huge break last year because of the pandemic, and so maybe he was fit for the playoffs. But otherwise, he's been brittle every season. You want to through that, especially with no cover, and we should probably discuss this too, right? Which is he doesn't have McGee or Dwight Howard protecting him, and what I mean by protecting is a lot of times they played the 5, and AD stuck to the power forward position, so he didn't have to bump bodies with the big guys on the other team, and a lot of his rim protection was guarding the rim against wings and guards, and which also allowed him to switch out to the perimeter from time to time. And gave them a lot of flexibility. They don't have that this season because their five man the fifth position options are Marc Gasol, who's been truly disappointing this season,
Right.
and Montrezl Harrell, who's amazing, but he's not the kind of big protector that they need. So if they're up against say a Jokic or whatever, he'll come undone. So they need size, which means then AD will have to play the 5, and that again isn't good for preserving his fitness. So all this considered, you would not want to enter the playoffs as a low tiered seed. That is a concern for the Lakers. If AD or LeBron or both come back before that and they can crawl their way back up to a top 3 finish, I think they're fine.
Now, we've been talking about this from the last 7 to 10 days where Gasol has been terrible and they were looking for replacement. We spoke about Cousins, we spoke about Griffin even briefly. They've not fixed that.
Yeah.
And then now LeBron is out and you see that Wes Matthews is starting in his place. So it's Schroeder, KCP, Wes Matthews, the Kuzma played at 4. And then you have a center who's been on a 10-day contract, right? And now LeBron is out and your momentum takes a big hit. Now in a sport, you know that momentum is key. You said that yourself, that the key to a team going on a championship run is having some kind of momentum and strategy and all of
Correct.
that combined. Right? Now, you don't even have the resources at this moment. How does this impact, or does it even impact the trade deadline day deals that they were looking to make, or even if they were looking to make any? Now, will they look at making someone?
I don't think this is they're not going to be able to solve through a trade or a deadline pickup or a free agent. There are hardly any free agents right now unless there's a buyout, but I don't think they're going to be able to solve for where they finish in the regular season. Like there's no scenario where let's say both LeBron and AD are not going to be available for the rest of the regular season or right at the fag end, so they're not going to have an impact on where they finish. There's nothing they can do in free agency or trades right now that will fix that. There's just no viable option. There's nobody that can come in and make sure they make a top 3 finish, right? So that's ruled out. If LeBron and AD are out, they're in trouble no matter what they do. I think the best case scenario here is how do you make moves assuming LeBron and AD or both are back before the playoffs and they can make a push for a good seed, top 3, at least a top 4. Then how do they've still got problems, right? Even if they finish number 1 in the West, they've got problems because in the playoffs, this set of options that they have at center, it's not going to work. They have a dude on a 10-day contract that they extended for another 10-day contract or some such. They have Marc Gasol who just looks hapless right now. They have Harrell who's great, but you need a size option. And like today they had to play Marcus Morris at the 5.
Yep.
Who's okay, but he's not really a 5. There's no way he makes that role count, certainly not in the playoffs. And the West has a lot of quality big men. You got Gobert, Jokic, it's a problem. So now the question is, how do you fix the team for the playoffs? There's really nothing they can do if LeBron and AD are out injured for the regular season. So the number 1 priority should be, and I'm most certain that it is for the Lakers from every report coming out, is that they need a big guy. They need a center. And Andre Drummond would probably be top of that list right now, of that priority list. And what's the accusation on Drummond, right? That he's kind of like a Westbrook. A lot of times it's just stat padding. It's he's a 20 and 20 kind of guy every game. But what does that mean exactly? But why would that mean? Where has Drummond played in his life? Like he's played in some of the most garbage franchises in recent memory, right? Detroit Pistons. Who does he have with him that it translates to wins? Who does he have in Cleveland? Do they even have ambition? Forget the players on court. Do they want to win, or do they always look to tank and go into the draft hoping to pick someone up, right? So if he's able to do that, even StatPad his way to a 2020 every game, with a Schroeder or a LeBron feeding him, with a Caruso that he can run pick and rolls with, and so many other combos that he has, I think he'd easily get those points or more. He can really do damage in the paint. Be a kind of a lob threat plus a low post scorer for the Lakers. So he'd be top of the list for me. There's no way Lakers make a trade for him, so it'll have to be a buyout. And it could be if Cleveland really want to move him, because I don't think anyone's going to offer a trade for Drummond with that salary. It has to be a buyout. If it is, I think Lakers are number one to get him. Like they should be topping that list. So that's one. Blake Griffin's gone. Cousins could be another one, but I genuinely, I thought about this, and the more I think about it, the more I think this is another gamble, because he's coming off of two massive injuries too. It's a bit like a Klay Thompson situation with him. And in what limited minutes he's played in Houston, he's looked good. But do the Lakers want yet another injury risk in Boogie Cousins? So Drummond will probably top their list, and maybe they stack some shooters around him, because the worst case scenario is, what if you don't get a replacement? So you're stuck with Marc Gasol and Marc Gasol, who's not great right now, and Harrell, who's not a big. If you're going to go small ball with Harrell or Marcus Morris, then you need shooters around you. What's the point of small ball if you're not going to lob threes for fun? Lakers are not the greatest three shooting team in the league, so maybe they want to plug that with like an experienced, like a JJ Redick type player. And maybe that's something they look into. But that's about it really.
All right, and just one last segment for today. On Friday, we spoke about the MVP race, and we said that how Embiid was the front runner, and then he got injured, and LeBron was chasing him, and now he's injured.
Yeah.
Does it tell the race entirely toward James Harden and Nikola Jokic, and even Dame Lillard, perhaps?
Is this race jinxing players? Like every time somebody becomes a favorite, they're just dropping like flies. This Dame Lillard, again, it's going to be a very tough sell if Portland don't finish top 3 or top 4. It's just not how folks vote. If it's even remotely close, it goes to the guy with the better record. So for me, I'm sticking by James Harden right now. Unless LeBron or Embiid comes back and proves me wrong, I think James Harden is the MVP of this season.
And where is your pick? What's your prediction for where would Lakers finish this season? Let's say that LeBron misses 2 weeks of basketball and Anthony Davis comes back, say 10 to 12 games before the postseason.
Yeah.
Where do you think they'll finish? Do you think they'll still rise up to the third spot?
Yeah, I think they're good for a top 3. As long as LeBron plays and AD comes back at some point, I think they're good for a top 3. If they make a good, like if they get somebody like a Drummond, I think they're a lock for the top 3. I don't see them being displaced from there. But if LeBron's absence is prolonged, then they're in trouble. Then it's a free fall. Could be 5th, could be 6th. But that's fine. I'd much rather have the king back.
All right, that was the Lakers, and I hope we don't have any more injuries, because in other news, LaMelo Ball has injured himself. He was a rookie of the year contender, and I hope we stop. If we are jinxing, I hope we stop doing that, because Steph is injured as well, and I just hope that the season goes by without any more major injuries. I hope Steph is back soon. I hope LeBron is back soon. LaMelo seems likely that he'll miss the season, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's out.
But that's all I have for today. I will catch you up tomorrow.
All right, peace.